I would pull out my finished art journal, and yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and get started. I made this journal out of a cereal box and some of that packing paper. It has been well used and abused. You can still see stuff like on it. Eventually I would like to decorate this and make it look a little nicer, but it does kind of have like a leathery look and feel to it. I have to say, this is not my idea. I actually learned to make this book, including the technique for this cover, from off of Jennibellie. So I will try to remember to put a link to her channel in the description box below. It's very simple, and obviously just by using recyclable materials, so I didn't have to go out and buy anything. So like I say, it's used and abused. So this was my very first page. I'm kind of new to the art journaling scene. I've really only been doing it for maybe about 4 years. So this is something that I did a while back. And at that point I was watching a lot of Jennibellie videos, and I tried to emulate her style a bit here with the girl on the front page. And I really enjoyed her video on, you know, you are an artist. So this is sort of a take on that video. Some of this I might not have much of a comment for. Let me get this in screen. That would probably be pretty good, huh? I just basically threw down some shapes, and the paint reminded me of an angel, so I went ahead and I turned it into an angel. I'm a pretty spiritual person, so you may see more pages that refer to my faith. As you are already aware from my channel, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and if it weren't for my artwork and my deep faith in the Lord, I'm not sure that what would have happened. So I really praise Him, and I'm grateful for the talent and the tools that He's given me to help me. So, and then this one, I wanted to do something. I had it's full of glitter. I wanted to do something as a rain cloud up here, and I had made my first homemade stencil, and so I wanted to try out my homemade stencil. The page didn't turn out the way I wanted, but I really did and like the effect that the stencil gave me. It was supposed to be more like a tiger stripe, but it worked perfect as stems, so hence the page. So like I said, this journal helps me work through some issues, and it's been so long ago since I did this page. What I did was I wrote a bunch of nasty things about a situation that I was going through at the time, and then I painted over it, and then I put the saying on the top that what lies beneath is not always pretty, because we always hear, oh, you know, the beauty underneath. On that day, not so much. And then on this page here, it is one of my favorite pages, only because it was a technique that I had always wanted to try doing ever since I was a kid. And I took a Jennibellie challenge, which was to use an art technique that you had never used before. Well, for me at that time, everything was new, but this would have been something that I had always wanted to try, which was baking a mosaic. So I took magazines and a hole punch, and I punched out all these different colors and then created this beautiful sunset. So I don't know, I just really like how the page turns out, especially when you're looking at it from a distance. It really looks cool. Okay, while I'm not the world's best poet, I do tend to write a little bit of poetry here and there, and I'm trying to start finding my own style of making girls. You can still see a hint of Jennibellie here, though. I mean, like I said, I watch a lot of her videos. Yeah, so the poem is called Fall. It says, crisp air, bright color, nature's glory for us to see. So something just simple, okay? Then this one here, I was making a different painting and I was trying to do these flowers, and I think when I went to try to do something else, they smeared. And you know, I could have just painted over the whole thing, but I decided no, I'm going to turn a negative into a positive. And so what I did is with the gray smears, I turned it to make it look like there was a mirror behind my flowers instead. And so that's why it's titled Colossal Mistakes, and purposely put the mistakes upside down. Eureka! Inspiration! Try, try, try. Resurrection. Well, obviously you can tell this one's about Christmas. And this one, the purpose of it was using scraps. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to use scraps. So in the back here, you can see like little pink strips with flowers and looks like leaves. Those are actually wrappers from off of Panty Shields that I kept the wrapper because I liked the pink color and the texture that it gave. It's clean, so I saved it and I put it in here. And then this is leftover. I had worked on another project, and this was a leftover map. So I took the leftover bits of the map that I had used and I put it in here. So that was really the purpose of this page, on top of, you know, celebrating Christmas. And this one was, I was trying my hand at doing some background collage. The whole background is done with advertisement pages from out of Yellow Pages that had expired. And then I really like to draw candles, so I thought it would be, I just wanted to do something simple. And as I was working on the candle, this came to my mind because Jesus is the light of the world. Okay, so here's a little poem that I wrote about my 4 sons. It says, sons, smart, talented, laughing, growing, challenging, tears of pain and pride they bring, gifts. So I actually stole this idea from an art class that I was in. I am a educational aide in a local elementary school, and this was a project where you took a circle and you had to put your initials in it, and then you colored in each section. So each one of these circles is my son's first and middle name initials. Okay, so I was trying my hand at the Zentangle stuff, and I saved them. I thought out of all the Zentangles that I was experimenting with, I liked these the best, and I decided to glue them in here. And it says, my life's a beautiful tangle, which seems odd considering what's on this opposite page. I was feeling very, very frustrated, and I basically just wanted to scream at the sky. So that is what this page represents. She is screaming at the sky. In terms of art, this is probably one of the best pieces that I've ever painted, and it's kind of a shame because this would have looked really cool on a canvas, and I don't think I could I don't know that I could recreate it because it really was something that was sort of spur of the moment. And I turned it into a pocket with sayings in here. Okay, you make your wishes come true. And then I had journaling on each one of the back of these tags. And these were cheap tags. I got these from, it's got stuff in here, but yeah. Remember to enjoy. I got these tags cheap at the dollar section at Target, so. And some of these I just, you know, painted over again. I have journaling on the back. It's kind of personal, but I really did enjoy making this page. I know it's a bit dark, but in the art journal is supposed to be for you to have a place to express yourself and work through some emotions and feelings. Now, I don't work in my journal like from page 1 to the back page, taking some advice from other art journalers out there that it makes it difficult to do the back pages. So some of it's going to skip around quite a bit. And I decided to, again, learning new techniques. I saw online from another art journal, and I can't remember who she is anymore, but taking up book pages. I have some old books that are beat up. I bought them from the Goodwill. They are trash and falling apart, just so I could have the book pages to draw on. So I made these flowers on the book page and decided I would keep them, and I put them in here with the saying that spring has sprung. And then this one was just, I was kind of feeling a little guilty because I was really doing art when I should have been doing my chores. And that's what inspired this page, because I thought, you know what, I am entitled to have a break. So I had just a book, and I picked out pictures of things that moms do, helping out the kids, getting ready, cleaning the house and cooking. And it says, a mother's work is never done until it's time for art. And all of a sudden, oh wow, they're all done, right? Okay. And I got this really cool zipper tape on a piece of, I'll say half email. I am a member of Crazy Island family. I'll try to remember to put a link to that below too. And we did some exchanging of ephemera, and the envelope was sealed with this tape, and I kept it because I thought it was kind of cool. And this is one of my beginner journal pages. So I put a zipper, drew a zipper here and a zipper here. It looks like almost like a pair of jeans here. And it just says, trying to unzip my creative potential. And at that time, I made I kept a little pocket that was in some of the ephemera, and I wrote a note to myself, and I stuck it in here. So it'll be fun to look back on, later, what my thoughts and feelings were as I started on this. And I had this paper. This is just scrapbooking paper, and I've always hated this paper. And I put it in here because I thought, I'll just paint over it. But I decided that, again, I was going to turn a negative into a positive. And so I took some acrylic paint and I painted in each one of these little teardrop things. And I put on there, it says, if you don't like the rain, paint it. So, because it looked like raindrops. And then I made these little paint brushes and paint jar and glued them on the side. So, it's still an ugly page, I'll give you that. But I was trying. So, I wanted to show you some of my not so nice pictures. To inspire you that, you're going to have pages that you don't like. I really don't like these, but it shows where I came from, and I was trying techniques that I hadn't done before. So everything becomes a learning experience, so that you'll either find things you like or things that you don't like. And, well, this is just some washi tape that I had bought. This probably is not going to last too much longer, because I didn't use glue with it, and the tape on the washi tape is the sticky on the washi tape is not very strong, so you can already see it's starting to peel up here. But I made this pocket. This is actually a baby white that I like the paint colors on, so I saved it, and I glued 2 of these together. And I think this is also from a video by Jennibellie that I really liked. So I thought I would give it a try, and I didn't know what to do with the fabric that you make. So I decided to turn it into a pocket. And what this is really about is, if you get a big hint here, is, birds and the bees. I've always had to be the one to give the talk to my boys. It's just something that my husband's not comfortable with, and I can understand that. And it just really broke my heart with the last one. No more innocence anymore. It's telling them all about, the big bad world, and telling them about things that don't exist, all at the same time. It's just heartbreaking. Anyway, so that's what that one was about. Then I am very new to, or at least I was very new to watercolors when I worked on this page. And I watched a video by the Frugal Crafter that showed a really simple techniques to make these hydrangeas. And so I tried it in here, and I probably should not have chosen this page. This is just cheap sketch paper, because the stuff is bled all over and marks and stuff are coming through from the other side. I mean, even though I tried to seal it, so it probably wasn't the best, but it was one of my first attempts at trying to do a little more serious watercolor techniques. So I am, well, I guess I'm postmenopausal now, but when I started this, as any of you guys out there who are going through menopause know, you have those moments where you are just angry and you really don't even know why. You just are. So that's what this page was about. And the title, Odd Angry. And I had some splashy paint, and I had received this little smiley face here from a student, and I wanted to use it in my book. And I'm trying to find a way to cheer me up from off this page. I made this, find new ways to give yourself a high five. Again, I really don't like the page, but I got to keep that, So these are pages where I've come a little bit further along. I think these were only just from last spring, so not very long ago. And I received this piece of paper with the feather stamp on it, again as part of the ephemera swap. My goodness. I received it back, it looks like 2015, so you can tell it's been a while. So, in keeping with the blue theme on the feather, I did the same thing with here, and I just made up a saying, make your mark in this world. And then more of these flowers that I drew and a text that I wanted to keep, and I have a bee stamp that I bought at the dollar store, not the dollar store, a consignment shop. Okay, like Goodwill or St. Vincent de Paul or something like that. That I wanted to try. And I wanted to try a stencil technique. This is just gesso, I think, because it doesn't feel real thick. And then all of these things, I was in an art swap through Jennibellie workshops. And I was paired up with a lady from England. Her name was Margot, and we were swapping tags. So I made a bunch of tags and sent them to her. She made some tags and sent them to me. And I saved as much off of that package as I could, because I just thought it was so cool that I got a package that came from England. I saved stamps, I saved airmail tag. She sent me some tea. I am not a tea drinker, but I just loved the packaging, and I just thought, oh my gosh, this is something that people in the UK drink. So it's like, I know I'm weird, but her tags were just so cute. I didn't have the heart to use them the way that she was wanting me to use them, so I decided that I would make up a whole page in here that was dedicated just to that swap and keep everything that I got from her in it. So she had sent me a little note, so I saved the note. And then I have a little journaling underneath here that talks about how much fun that I had and making my tags and then getting hers in the mail. It was a lot of fun. This is just another one page where I call upon my faith. She's supposed to be bowing her head in prayer. And it just says, Mary, patron saint of mothers, pray for me that I can overcome my shortcomings. And it kind of goes back to this odd, angry, like again, those of you who are going through menopause can kind of relate. When you just seem to snap, you don't have a lot of patience. it's almost like being a teenager again, where your emotions tend to run away with you and you say and do things that you regret later. So I got these in Happy Mail, and as part of, actually these came through Crazy Island Family, some swap I did with them, and I can't remember who gave them to me. But I have jealousy, frustration, and impatience, hence why I needed a little helping hand from Mary there. Okay, so this one I really like the picture of the eagle. One, I'm a patriotic person, a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and I'm very proud of and love my country. And at the same time, my kids' high school, their mascot is an eagle. So it reminded me of being a mom and raising the kids. And so it says, like chicks from the nest, set your mind free. So encouraging myself to let my creativity go and not be so self-conscious about what I'm doing. And you can see that some of these pages I have covered up, or I have paper clipped together, and the reason is because they contain some the page is just too personal for me to share. So, and I'm sure that you guys can kind of understand that. There's nothing wrong with the artwork on them. It just, I don't feel comfortable sharing. This is an art journal, so I journal in it and I work through my issues in it, and some things I just don't want to share. So I know you understand that. Okay, so here I had saved this from off of a napkin. I was trying a new technique where you glue down napkins in order to make the artwork in your art journal, and I was practicing with some stamping that I have. I have this really cool vine stamp that's really good for backgrounds that I used when I was a scrapbooker, and I was still trying to find a white pen that will actually look white and show up. So I apologize that you can't read this, but it says, "Glad that I live, glad that I live am I, that the sky is blue, glad for the country lane, and the," oh my goodness, I can't even read my own writing. "Glad am I that I live, that the sky is blue, glad for the country lane, and the tell of dew." And this was by a quote from Lizette Reese. And this is "Find Your Inner Peace." Let's see. This is supposed to be Mary. And I was playing with some modeling paste, and a stencil. I had found this modeling paste in a clearance bin at Hobby Lobby, I think. And they had this picture and this really cool poem inside a religious magazine that somebody gave me. And so I saved the images and the prayer. I used these flowers as a way of tucking this in, so this actually can come out and unfolds. So that might be something to consider when you're doing your art journal, is something like that. And I think that's actually one of my ideas. I don't think I got that from anybody. I don't think I did. And this one was just a paint cleaning page, and it reminded me of trees, and I started to sketch this face, and it's one of the few male faces that I've ever sketched. I just kept it in the reds and the browns, and kept him very sketchy looking. And the page is basically about depression. It lurks. Depression waits, lurks, paralyzes, and consumes. And this was an image from out of a magazine. It was her silhouette, and what I did is I cut the silhouette out, and then I took a sanding block and scrubbed on it a bit to kind of give it that distressed look, and glued her in here. And then I had found a healing prayer again in a religious magazine or something, and it says, "Jesus, heal our lives, our broken spirits, our hearts and minds, our body and soul. Jesus, hear our prayer. You know our weaknesses, our strength, our struggle and pain, for you too have suffered. Jesus, listen in love as you once did at Cana to your mother Mary, and respond in mercy. Amen." And this, I had the cutest stamp or stencil with these, with the balloons on it, and I really love balloons. So I did this page. I didn't like the paper in the background, but I just decided to kind of go with it to kind of look like, make it look like it's evening. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to a balloon glow, but that's what this was supposed to be, kind of be. It says, always believe in yourself to fly to your dreams. And that was a quote from Anonymous. And this is a little doily that I got in Happy Mail from someone, and I loved it. So I decorated the outside of it. And then I wrote on here, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. I will not refuse to do something I can do. Helen Keller. And it just says, be strong. It says passion, smart, confident, firm. This was an art challenge from Jennibellie channel. You can see the video on how to do this on her channel. And that's basically what it was. Cloak yourself in light. I really like how the page turned out. Alright, was feeling a little frustrated at work. It says, just spinning my wheels. And you probably can't make it out on the camera, but you can see where I have painted like a big bicycle tire, regular kind of car tires. And I needed to promise myself that not to give up, just to take things in stride and kind of move on. So this little tag has got some journaling on the back. And I did this sketch, not great, but I made her into a pocket. So got a tag with some more journaling on it. And this was one of my earlier pages, and I was trying this idea with the dangles. This is something that Tam, oh my goodness, all of a sudden her name went on, last name went on. She's from Willing Wing Arts. First name is Tam. And this is something that she does a lot, and so I wanted to try it in my art journal. And speaking of her, she had a free class on her channel on how to do this girl. And I watched it, and then I came up here in my studio, and this came out. I really love how this page turned out. And then, loving is not just caring deeply, it is above all understanding, by Francois Sagan. Just a page inspired by Halloween. It was just a clean off page, and I just decided to make it look creepy funny. I had this piece of paper left over from another project. It's just a book page, or, oh, I take it back. It's from a missalette, a personal missalette. And I kept the page, and I decided, you know, I'm going to turn that into an obelisk. And hence the I am my own pillar of strength. And then I wrote this poem for fall. It says, thanks. Thanks for fluffy white clouds and bright blue skies, for tall tree boughs and long country drives, for little boys' stains and tight knee hugs, for toy cars and trains and squiggly bugs, for purring black kitties and puppy dog barks, bustling sounds of the city and quiet in the dark, for loud ringing laughter and tears of joy, for happy ever after, whether girl or boy, for dazzling dawn sun, the promise of a new day, the color when day is done, and bold moon's ray, for life's simple pleasures God gives in full measure. And it was me. I wrote that one. Just want to glue the two pages together so I could have a pocket for this beautiful tag that I got from I think this was a Crazy Island swap. Maybe Jennibellie. I can't remember anymore. But this I got at Dollar Tree. And so I just drew her. I was feeling sad because summer was gone. And we have a camper, and so these look like camper lights, so I saved those. And this one, she came out looking Oriental, or maybe Native American, and I kind of took more of the Native American side of things. And I wrote on there, paint with all the colors of the wind from that Disney song. So again, I probably used the wrong paper because stuff that I drew bled through onto her face, but I still like it. This was a play I had with just doing some collage work. It was basically strictly collage. Here is, I wish you could feel this. This, I took a baby wipe and I glued it on here, and then this has all been stamped on. And then to feature this poem, it says, winter dreaming. Frost upon the ground, cold bites the nose. Silent snow in mounds, fingers, toes froze. Spring so near yet far, hopeful mind dreams. Fireflies in a jar, happy kid screams. Warming face, sun's rays, feet on cool grass. How we count the days, winter please pass. And here's this feeling a little bit frustrated. So square pegs and round holes, and I was trying again my hand at using some texture paste through a stencil. I really love this page, how this came out. This is from, these are just napkins, just a piece of napkins, and I had done this sketch of this girl painting. You know, there's a lot. I've never been to Paris, but I took French class and they talked a lot about the culture. And particularly in Paris, where a lot of, as you probably already know, a lot of painters work there. So, and working out in the fresh air. So I did this and I called it Parisian Dreams. Someday I will get to go there. We'll see. Again, here's, I tried again another attempt at trying to draw a male face. I still think it looks a tad feminine, but it's supposed to be a young teenage guy, so what can you say? Okay, this was my experiment of trying to do Zentangle on black paper using white paint and some color, and instead of putting the stuff inside of a square, I put everything on the outside. So think outside the box. And I really love this, how this bird came out. This page was actually just another one of those wipe off pages, and I just kind of slapped some stuff to cover up the stuff I didn't like. And this bit here was, it looks like it is Czech, like a Czech newspaper or a Russian newspaper, because of the writing that's on it. I thought it was so cool, so I put that on here because I just thought that, like I said, I just thought it was cool. I got another piece of it down here too. All right. And I was watching Claudia Rossi over there at Crazy Island Studios, and she loves to do these girls with these beautiful different colored hair. I also wanted to try my hand at using an art tool. So I put down the molding paste, and then I took a scraping tool to make the lines in here to make it look like it was her dress. Kind of like one of those fancy folded linen dresses. And then I just painted in these hearts. I just love how this turned out. So again, I'll try to remember to put the links to these ladies in the description below. And this was just a reaction to the news, and this might be too political for people, but I was frustrated by something that I saw in the news, and hence I did this page. And I got this thing in the mail, and I've been trying to figure out a way to use it. And as everybody else, financial struggles is no fun. So I wanted to use this, and then I also wanted to try a technique that I saw on Knitting and Things, Kelly Donovan, where she was showing how to use glue as a crackle medium. So, because I didn't have any, so I gave her technique a try. And, you know, for just being glue, it didn't do too bad. It really kind of gives some texture to the skin on the face. So this was definitely, and she had this, what she calls odd girls. And this was sort of my take on an odd girl. So I highly recommend you taken a look at her videos. I really like her stuff. I think I've seen all of her stuff too. Okay, this was a card that I saved for I went to, you can see how this stuff's just bleeding right on over. Bummer. Anyway, I saved this card. It's a postcard, and I got it from St. Vincent de Paul. I really highly recommend checking out your Goodwills and your St. Vincent de Paul's and consignment shops. And just, you know, I've got napkins there, I've got cards there, things that I, you know, different ephemera that I can use in my book. So I saved the card and I cut out the lady because I really like the flowers and I wanted something a little bit foofy, I guess. And so I journaled on the back. And I teach Sunday school and I do some artwork for the kids in there, and I drew these and I ended up not using them, so I thought, well, I think I'm just gonna keep them and I'm gonna put them in my book, so I did. And this was something that I actually made myself out of recycled cardboard, where I cut it out and I shaped it into a leaf and then I painted it with watercolors. There's some glitter. This is can't remember the name of the stuff, but it basically is a plastic, but you mix it stuff together, you put it over the top, and then when it dries it forms a hard plastic surface. And so I was just trying to use up some fall stuff that I had, some washi tapes that I got and saved from off of letter swaps and ephemera swaps. And this is actually one of the last pages that I did in this book, and I can tell which pages that I did when, based on some of the, you know, the stuff that I like. This is later, and this is later. This is later. What's the other girl one in here? There's another girl one in here. The one that I said, yeah, this one. This is later. As I start getting more comfortable in what I'm doing and start feeling out for my own style. So obviously a nighttime sea scene with a sailboat, and it says, all adventures, especially into new territory, are scary, from Sally Ride. And these were just some they just leftover magazine pictures, I think, and I just turned them into flowers and put them on the page. Again, this is another one where I did very recently, and I just was trying out the splatter techniques. I had these really cool iridescent paints that I bought and that were in a clearance rack, and so I wanted to try them out. I'm telling you, I know you probably can't see on the camera, but they've got that sheen. They're really cool. And just kind of did a sketch. Some of this stuff I just don't know what I'm going to do until I sit down and start doing it. I saved this image where it says of summer. And my kids will tell you that, you know, I'm one of the biggest kids that they know. I think I was kind of a little depressed. And again, these things always did remind me. You can see how ugly that paper was, because this one I don't have all painted in like the other one. So it just says, into the world a little rain must fall, be the bright spot in it. This one is actually inspired by a Jennibellie entry. I was watching one of her flips, and she had this really cute Venus that she drew. And so, I don't know, it just inspired me to do this page. Oh, I did. And this is another one of those just wipe off pages, and I found this really cool poem by Louisa May Alcott, and decided that I was going to take more of a contemporary twist on it. So I took just a popsicle stick and I traced the popsicle sticks at various lengths and painted them into clouds and made it look like a sunset. So it says, far away there in the sunshine are my highest aspirations. I may not reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty, believe in them, and try to follow them. And this, I was just playing again with the silhouettes, kind of like with the other lady in there. But this one's a little bit later. I had found a book at, you guessed it, St. Vincent de Paul, that's full of these quotes. And since it was dark, I kind of wanted to keep the rest of the page dark. So she's standing on a cliff overlooking a forest. You can't see it here on camera, I'm sure, but there's some purple and stuff mixed in here to make this look more like forest with her standing on a rock. I was working on a swap through Jennibellie, and we were to make bunting. And I started working with these, and I ended up not liking them, and I ended up doing something else that I sent off to my swap partner. But I kept these, and I finally found a use for them, and I put them in here because they're all kind of crazy looking little flowers. So it says, just stand out in the crowd. It has garden party, and I got this tag from someone at Crazy Island, and it has a note from her on the back. So I put a little bit of journaling here, and then I've used the tag to kind of cover that up. That way I get to still enjoy the tag and the message on it, and I can have my journaling covered up. This was kind of just playing with using something other than pinks and browns to create skin tone. I just decided to do something completely different. I received this movie film tape as a swap, and so I wanted to use that in here, and I just thought this was perfect. When I got finished with her, it says geeked at birth, and I just thought, well, that's just perfect. So this is actually inspired by a conversation that I had where sometimes you have to take a different look at things that have happened in the past in order to work through issues that are taking place in the present and get past them and move on. So that's why it says on here, sometimes you have to look back to move forward. And then this was just a use it up page, and they just had some blue paint, and so I just created these blue flowers. And this was, I don't remember. I think I was just kind of playing around, and this is what came out. So there you have it. My journal flip through. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you see that if I can do it, anybody can do it. There are certainly, like I said, there are pages I am not proud of, but then there's other ones in here that I'm like, holy cow, I did that. And you're going to find that too. So, keep trying, keep working on through it. I highly recommend art journaling to help work through issues, especially if you are suffering from a mental illness or feeling frustrated. It's just a great way to work through things. And you can write in it if you want, just draw in it if you want, or, sometimes I just do a page, and then sometimes I do some journaling, and like this had all kinds of journaling underneath it, and I just painted right over the top. So, all right, with that, remember to